Welcome back to my channel. It's Miranda, and today I thought we could wash and lanolize our homemade wool diaper covers. So, to wash and lanolize your covers, the supplies that you will need. The first thing, your wool cover. Then we're going to need some kind of wool soap. Now, I think you can get foamy soap. I've seen people do tutorials with these with some kind of green, I can't remember the name of it, but you can get it on Amazon. I actually went to Etsy and I got a soap specifically made for washing wool. And it's lavender vanilla. It's got lanolin, olive oil, palm oil, castor oil, essential oils, and sunflower oil. I have been using this brick of soap. You can see I got it from Etsy. And you can see that I have been using this brick of soap. Because you can see that I've peeled some off. So you'll need your wool soap and some lanolin. Now, this might not be the best lanolin. It's got some other ingredients in it, so it's not 100%, but it is the lanolin that I've been using, and it works okay for me. So those are the lanolin soap ingredients. You're going to need a container, and I use a chopstick. The other video that I saw uses a chopsticks for stirring, and then you're going to need some kind of container. Some people just soak in their sink. I think that's fine, but those are the supplies that you're going to need for this wool wash and lanolin process. Okay, so I have got some water here, and it is hot like fire, and I need it to be really hot to melt my brick soap and my lanolin. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of my soap and I'm going to melt it in with some lanolin into this water and then stir it up until it's milky foamy, but not too foamy. There's kind of a trick to it. So I'm gonna break off just a little bit of the soap. I'm going to use my chopstick and break off a little bit of the soap, and then I'm going to kind of mash it in my fingers to try to get it as kind of chopped up in pieces, flaky as I can, and then I'm going to drop it into the water. I'll use my chopstick to get it off my fingers, and then I am going to start stirring up my water and hoping that it starts getting a little bit milky. Now, since my soap has some lanolin in it, I probably don't need very much, but I am going to add a little bit. I'm going to use my chopstick again, and I'm just going to add a pea size. Is that less than a pea, more than a pea? And I'm going to put that in the water, and I'm going to keep stirring. Stir, 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 stir. Now, it's getting a little milky. You can see as I stir, 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 stir. That's going to be from the soap. This is hot like fire. I'm going to set it down. I need the water to be really hot because if it was liquid soap, it might not need to be so hot, but it's got to melt my soap. So I'm looking at it, and I don't think it's milky enough. I don't think. I'm gonna take off just a little bit more of my brick of soap, and I will show that to you before I put it in. I'm just gonna kind of scrape, just little flakes so that they will melt. And I'm kind of milky. I'm gonna get a little more lanolin. Right in the water. Nice. And I'm stirring. I want it all to melt together. Do not burn yourself, oh dear. It's getting pretty milky, but see, I'm gonna dilute this into my wash water. Okay, so you can see that if I just lay my chopstick in, you can basically not see it. I'm gonna call it good. We're just doing the best we can. Again, our best is good enough. Definitely. We're doing this for us. Okay, so now I am going to let my lanolin milk mixture, it's not milk, it's soap, but it needs to look milky. I'm gonna let this sit and cool off because you can't shock your wool with the hot water. So as I'm gonna let that sit aside, now we're gonna go to the sink and actually wash the wool. I do have a used wool cover in there. It has probably some urine. It has soaked up some urine, so I need to wash the wool. And I'll show you that next. So here we are at the sink, and my wool covers are in some, I would say, room temperature water. I don't wash with hot water because, like I said, I don't want to shock the wool. And so, what I'm going to do is I am going to bring my soap out, and I am actually going to wash the wool. Just a little bit of soap. I hope that's not too high. I hope you can see. I'm really going to try to get the soap onto the sewn-in soaker. And if you get like, let's say you get like a solid leak onto your wool cover at like the leg area, what I've seen is just to kind of concentrate the soap, the bar of soap, on that area. And now I have some on my hands, and I have some in the you can see that, or I hope you can see, it's got some suds. And I'm washing it on the inside because that's where I need the cleanliness, and that's where I need the lanolin. Hope you can see it's got a little bit of suds there. So I'm just going to soap, absolutely, every time. And I'm not gonna take it and like rub it against each other like you see that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna kind of gently massage the wool wash, and then I might dip it back in and get it wet again. And I'll do the same for the other cover. I'll do the same for this one. And so now, after I washed and rinsed kind of gently, rinsed these out, I've refilled with kind of lukewarm water. And I am going to now introduce my lanolin soap. You can see it is still very, very milky. A little bit of soap, a little bit of lanolin. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange my covers so that I can pour the lanolin over the most useful spot on my covers. Which side is that? This side. Okay. So I'll put it here and down in the water, and I will put, basically I am arranging it so that the front groin area is where the lanolin will get, the lanolin milk soak mixture will get poured over this area. That's where it's most useful for me because I have a boy and he's a front wetter, and he likes to sleep on his tummy. I need the front all the way up to his tummy to be the most lanolized. That would have been a tragedy if I dropped that. So now I am ready to pour over. It's it's warmish. It's not hot like fire like it was. So I'm not shocking the wool, and so I'm just going to pour it over. And see, it's pretty milky. Okay, that is not milky enough. I'm going to have to do another. I'm going to have to melt another and make another so that I can pour it in and be very milky. I think it's perfect now. What you need the soap for, the wool soap, is for an emulsifier. You're trying to emulsify the lanolin because the lanolin just gets greasy and, you know, floats on top unless you emulsify it. Kind of like a salad dressing. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to I have some kind of room temperature water here, and I'm going to pour to dilute the heat. I didn't want to pour that hot wool soap on top of my wool because I didn't want to shock it. So now it is just warm, not burning me at all. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. I'm going to pour this over the areas where, that's so much better. Yes, get milky. There. And now the water is very milky. And I'm pouring it over the areas where I really need it. And I'm going to let this soak. Now the covers have been soaking in the milky water, the lanolin bath, for about 2 hours. So now I am going to call this good and soaked. So we will be as gentle as we can. The new cover is still shedding quite a bit. That's okay. Mine do that for a while. And I just fold it over and I squeeze the water out. I'm not gonna wring it. I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of compressing the water out. And then we will lay these flat to dry. Now we're going to lay out our covers. To dry. But first, what you want to do is you want to roll them up into a towel. This is going to sop up the excess water without having to wring out your covers. And you could hang these to dry. Sometimes I might hang them like this, or even like this over some hangers. But laying them flat works real good. And this can just dry until it's all the way dry. You don't want to put a wet wool cover on your baby, but once it's dry, it's ready to go. So thank you for watching my step-by-step instructions on how to wash and lanolize our homemade wool diaper cover that we made together. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try to be as helpful as I can. And just thank you so much again, and I'll see you in the next one.